The Caribbean is a region that is rich in culture and history, known for its beautiful beaches and warm climate. However, despite its many amazing attractions, the region does not produce everything it consumes, and one of the areas in which the region falters is its heavy reliance on the imports of goods and services to meet the needs of its people. Many of the islands that make up the Caribbean are small and have a limited variety of natural resources or industries, which means that we must rely on imports to provide a range of products and services to our populations. These imports can include everything from food and clothing to machinery and technology. The Caribbean, being a popular tourist destination, means that the region imports a significant amount of goods and services related to the tourism industry, such as hotel and restaurant supplies, transportation services, and entertainment. Because of this, we thought it was important to recognize what are the main imports to the region and how these imports affect the various countries throughout the Caribbean. Some of the data in this presentation are taken from the Organization for Economic Complexity, the world's leading data visualization tool for international trade data. The OEC is maintained by the Massachusetts Institute of Technology MIT Media Lab and uses data from the United Nations Comtrade database to visualize trade flows between countries. It provides powerful insights into the economy that is crucial for businesses, researchers, and policymakers. So if you're interested in seeing more exciting data about the Caribbean and world trade, check out the link in our sources below. CARICOM exported $19.2 billion, but imported much more at $35.5 billion. The largest value of these imports went to the Dominican Republic as the region's largest importer, followed by Trinidad and Tobago, Cuba, the Bahamas, and Jamaica in the 5th position, according to the World Integrated Trade Solutions, WITS. Let's now take a look at the top 10 imports to the Caribbean region by classification. Please like, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell for our future videos. We start our list with the number 10 largest imports to the Caribbean, which are textiles and clothing articles. The import of textiles to the Caribbean contributes about $1 billion in import value to the region. The majority of these textiles come from China, which accounts for almost 50% of clothing apparel imports. The United States accounts for another 25%, and other countries such as India, the Philippines, Panama, and the Dominican Republic. Dominican Republic and Haiti are the largest importers of textiles and clothing in the Caribbean region. At number 9, we have the classification of plastics and rubber items, which account for approximately $1.18 billion in import value to the Caribbean. But what does this categorization consist of? Well, it consists of everything that is made of plastic or rubber that is smaller than a certain size and that is used to make other larger items. These include everything from gaskets, resins, molds, and polymers, just to name a few. When it comes to the origin of these items, the largest exporter to the Caribbean is the United States, which accounts for 32% of imports to the region. China follows, accounting for 20%, followed by Dominican Republic at 15.4%. St. Lucia is the largest importer of plastic and rubber in the Caribbean, followed by the Dominican Republic and Trinidad and Tobago. Number 8 is the simple classification of animal products, which are primarily meat of various kinds, including but not limited to beef, pork, chicken, fish, and much more. The largest type of this meat imported is beef, which accounts for about half of the total volume, which sits at around $1.19 billion. The majority of this meat originates from the United States at about 54% of total imports. But there are also significant imports from Chile, which is known for its meat industry at 10%, and Brazil at 8%. Trinidad and Tobago, Guyana, and Jamaica are the largest importers of animal products in the region. At number 7, we have another type of food product, but this time in the form of vegetable products. As you can expect, this includes all the various kinds of vegetables that can be found in the average Caribbean supermarket, from carrots and potatoes to cereals and onions. In fact, cereals account for more than half of the vegetable product imports into the region, which in total is about $1.2 billion. The vast majority of these items come from the United States. For example, the US accounts for more than 80% of cereal and grain imports to the Caribbean alone, and about 45% of root vegetables. Other countries from where these imports originate are the Netherlands, China, Chile, and Costa Rica. Guyana, Suriname, and the Dominican Republic are the largest importers of vegetable products in the region. In the number 6th position, with a slightly larger import value, we have the ominous-sounding classification of chemical products. But these productions are nothing to fear. Chemical products, while they can be dangerous, are also an essential part of any region's economy and include items such as ammonia, surfactants, bleaches, and much more. These vast varieties of products account for $1.8 billion in import value, and again, mostly originate from the United States, which accounts for 35% of the total number of imports. The remainder comes from countries such as China at 8.5%, the Netherlands at 8.4%, and then South Korea at 6%. Trinidad and Tobago, St. Lucia, and the Dominican Republic are the largest importers of chemical products in the region. At number 5, we have the classification of imports under metals. The majority of these metals are reinforcement bar used in construction, but they can also include steel, aluminum, iron, and products made from them. Again, the majority of these materials come from the United States, but metals are not as skewed towards the US as other products. The United States accounts for 37% of these metals, but China is also a main import with 28% originating from the Asian giant. The remainder of these materials is more distributed, ranging from Brazil to Spain and the United Kingdom. Trinidad and Tobago, the Dominican Republic, St. Lucia, followed by Barbados and Jamaica, are the largest importers of metal products in the region. At number 4, we come to the category that possibly gets the most media attention when it comes to imports into the region, and that is processed food, which is in a different category from animal and vegetable products. These are products that have been through at least one process. For example, this category includes things such as cooking oil, flour, beverages, sugar, canned items, and the list goes on and on. This is the largest food import into the Caribbean and accounts for $2.2 billion in imports. The majority of these items originate from the United States, which accounts for 45% of imports. But other major players include our Latin American neighbors like Costa Rica at 13%, the Dominican Republic at 9%, and Europe, which collectively accounts for approximately 11%. Trinidad and Tobago, the Dominican Republic, Jamaica, Belize, and Cuba are the largest importers of food products to the region. As we break into the top 3 largest imports into the Caribbean, we are getting into the largest items imported into the region, and there's a considerable jump in import value. Our next category is twice as large in terms of import value when compared to the number 4 place taken by processed food. With imports of $4.5 billion, machines take the place of the 3rd largest import into the Caribbean. Machines is again a wide category, but is a pretty easy one to conceptualize. It includes everything from mechanical appliances like fridges and toasters to machine parts, televisions, and construction equipment, and much more. Again, the United States is the largest exporter to the Caribbean in this category, accounting for about 50% of the region's imports. It is followed by China, which is much lower at 12%, and then Germany at 6.7%. The Dominican Republic, St. Lucia, Trinidad and Tobago, Cuba, and Jamaica lead the way with the largest importers of these types of machinery products to the region. If you're getting value from this video, we would greatly appreciate it if you would give this video a like, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell for our future videos. Thank you. At number 2, we have the big classification of mineral products. This classification may seem vast again, but the primary constituent of this group is none other than oil. This may not be a surprise as many countries in the Caribbean region rely heavily on oil imports to meet their energy needs. Oil is not only used for fuel in cars, but also to power many electricity generation plants around the Caribbean, making it a core part of the region's energy. Import values for mineral products, which includes primary oil, but also salts, waxes, bitumines, and more, were an astounding $5.8 billion. Here, the vast majority of these materials come from the United States at 64% of the total volume, but there are also large volumes that come from Colombia at about 11% and Brazil at 6%. Barbados, Trinidad and Tobago, St. Lucia, and the Dominican Republic are the largest importers of these types of mineral products to the region. The number one largest import item into the Caribbean may surprise you. Larger than oil, food, and even chemicals. Can you guess what it is? The largest imports into the Caribbean by far are vehicles. Yes, vehicles. Before we get carried away though, some points of clarification. This category is technically titled transportation and includes everything that moves. Therefore, included in this category are cars, trucks, ships, boats, aircraft, and their parts, just to name a few. The vast majority of the items in this category are related to ships, boat, and floating structures. And the whole vehicle category accounts for an amazing $9 billion as of 2020. Surprisingly, the largest imports from this category do not come from the United States, but rather from the Netherlands at 32% of the total import value. Again, this becomes less surprising when you consider that the Netherlands is a major maritime exporter. Next is South Korea, which accounts for another 25%. Then in much smaller quantities, other European countries such as Italy, Portugal, Poland, and Germany between 14%. The Bahamas, Trinidad and Tobago, Jamaica, and the Dominican Republic are the largest importers of these types of transportation products to the region. Check out this video about the top 10 exports by the Caribbean to the world. It is important to note that while it is important to import some of the goods that one uses because no country can produce everything, however, over-reliance on imports can push countries to have trade deficits, and trade deficits can have negative effects on an economy. It is important to strike the balance between imports and exports to achieve the healthiest and most robust economy. Tell us in the comment section below what you think of the volume of imports by the Caribbean. As we conclude our video today, why not tell us your thoughts in the comments below? Which statistic were you most surprised about? We always check and take your responses into our next content. As always, we would like to thank you for watching and remind you to please like, subscribe, share our channel with others, and turn on the notification bell for our next video as we explore the Caribbean together. This is J-irie Caribbean.